4 anchors. You remember in the last game, but Tumba Man was a ridiculously manly performance on Sven. So maybe HellRaisers are like, yeah, we'll try a bit of that. Dread specifically, it looks like.
Oh, perfect. We saw Dread make some pretty manly plays on that Vengeful Spirit yesterday as well. So maybe Sven will fit that style a little bit more, get up in those lines and war cry your way to safety. Interesting drafts. My prediction this game, there's going to be a lot of kills.
A bold claim. I'm going to go with...
For battle.
I'm going to go with 4 Clover. I'm not sure how much I trust HR's draft. I think they're very reliant on the combos, and with the stand-in factor, I feel like that gets a lot more difficult.
Oh, it's your favorite effigy, LD. You were showing this off yesterday.
Oh. It's a great effigy. I'm glad I left the camera there. I should do that more often.
Oh, my. I do really agree with you, though. I think this HR lineup, it's really scary if they can get the dream setup, but that's much easier said than done, especially like against a team like 4C&L that has.
And there's so many ways to just interrupt
so
the combo. Like the Bloodseeker Silence is so disruptive, as is the Fissure, and then you've got potential spell steals from Rubik. You've got 3 melee heroes versus Call Down. I just think there's a lot of ways for 4C to throw this combination gaming off, but if they get them, they're
This feels like a good Rubik game here. I feel like every hero on the Radiant side has at least one spell, if not a few, that are worth stealing, and like the Stormhammer, for example, if you can manage to steal God's Strength, that's not too bad, although not that great either.
It's cute, that's for sure. How about you, Dakota? Who's your money on here?
I don't know, man. Maybe a slight notch towards 4 Clovers, maybe. I'm still 50-50 on this.
That was the lamest prediction I've ever heard.
That was almost on par with the Hani. Well, one team is going to win here. I'm kind of 50-50, one or the other. Okay, you're just going to leave it there?
I'm going to go HellRaisers just because I respect their more manly lineup with Sven.
Okay, very good. Perfect.
Thank you very much. And with that, Dakota, carry that type of enthusiasm through this cast. Our second and final best of 3 of the day is now underway. It's 4 Clovers versus HellRaisers. Gentlemen, take it away.
All right, so right inside we do have the HellRaisers Dread. He'll be on the position 1 Sven in the safe lane. Got him on the Dazzle supporting there. PSM, he'll be on the Darkseer. Probably headed to that off lane. Alpha Ninja on the mid puck. And that leaves Roman RMN on the roaming Tusk. He's got his pipe. He's got his eye patch. He's ready to throw some snowballs all over the field here, Dakota.
Dire side, 4 Clovers and Lepricon. It's spelled wrong, but I assure you they do not play Dota incorrectly. We got Sexy Bambo on the top lane. He's playing your Bloodseeker. Probably not going to be able to get that bounty. Along the bottom, trifecta between Wee, who's going to be playing your Gyrocopter Vantscore on his Rubik. Wagamama is going to be playing your Dragon Knight. And last but not least, we got Little Sad Face, also known as EGM, who's playing your Ursula.
Is that a sad face? It looks more like a neutral face. Like, I'm not sad, I'm not happy, I'm just here. You know? Who knows?
I'm giggling at this gyrocopter taunt right now. You see this? He's like flipping around, tossing that little rocket up and down. Oh, he might have stopped it now. I haven't seen
I think I missed it, but
that they brought out.
Okay, so it is indeed an aggro tri-lane from the 4 Clovers. They'll be putting a lot of pressure on Alpha Ninja as there has been some musical lane action here from HR. They'll send the puck to the safe lane, already gets initiated on, and there's a first blood in the other lane as we watch this one. It's in the mid. Waga becomes victim of that first rotation from Dazzle and Sven. And up top, PSM diving deep onto Bambo with that Ion Shell. He's only level 2 here. Bambo gets a much-needed last hit with that Blood Rage, and he will be able to regen up. So already, blood all over the place, and it will be drawn by HR.
Yeah, pretty damn ridiculous. These teams don't have the respect for us to kind of take a moment to appreciate this laning setup. All 3 lanes getting very damn aggressive here, so I certainly don't fault that. You could have checked any of the lanes. One diving at the top lane. I was watching a bit. Bambo just relentless, his lane, just happy to kind of breach what's the safety territory. Mid lane, they get that first assault, with help of goddamn on his Dazzle, even committing the early poison for it, and they come out with the extra bonus. So this is, like you said, is your very bold prediction. There is going to be a lot of kills, a lot of death, a lot of blood.
Well, could be in mid now.
It doesn't stop.
He's pretty beefy, though. He's got that point in Warcry. Gives him all that extra armor. There's a Dragon Tail stun, but the 2 melee cores on this Dire side just don't quite have the damage to finish off Dread. They will make him chew through some of those tangos, though. He does. He came prepared. 2 sets, and he's got plenty still to keep himself topped off. So, how did these lanes finally? Oh, I just saw it. The little flippy there from Weehaw. That's cute. So how are these lanes actually going to settle down? Looks like Puck will stay in the safe lane, relegated back to the well. Kind of a rocky start here with just 2 pulled tangos. Not a lot of sustainability against this aggro try. So Puck off to a very slow start, and that means Weehaw's having all the space in the world. Up top, it looks like Sexy Bambo actually doing pretty well against the Darkseer. Darkseer's found quite a few last hits, but still, Bloodseeker able to farm and well into level 3.
Yeah, I mean, you think just the matchup on paper, Ion Shell, you're going against a melee hero. The melee hero might have a bit of a hard time with the Ion Shell, but it's a Bloodseeker, and as long as he's able to get the last hits, he'll get the extra, benefit of the E to stay alive. What you don't count on is a Tusk. Rolling on in, they get the early snowball, prompts out the rotation. Because they have a nice effective push, they can quickly retreat, but Roman kind of turns in a circle and now is running out the awkward way. Gets caught in telekinesis, a pullback. He gets the help of an Ion Shell from his puts down a barricade, a very nice one to stop Bambo, but he gets zapped from above with the Fade Bolt. Now EGM is here. There's nowhere to run. There's going to be a fissure waiting for you if necessary, but it's not. They just get the easy last hit, and that's going to be coming from Bambo.
All right, nice rotation there from 4CL. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, more simultaneous action. That's a solo kill on a Puck. The Gyrocopter just so far ahead of him here. He's almost level 5. Puck still level 1. Just a single point in phase shift. Looks like Weehaw was able to take him out with just a Rocket Barrage flat cannon rotation. Doesn't even have a point in homing missile yet.
Sometimes we see that in these gyros. I think you saw it yesterday as well. They just commit for the Q and E build-up, not going with that value point into the rocket. I mean, obviously you're going against the Puck. Very easily dodge it, so I guess I can understand it here for Weehaw. And for an off-lane, Gyro is kind of working on his own. He's getting so much this game. 22 and 13. It's going to be a very, very nice start for him.
It started as an aggro tri-lane, but it's now turned into just a solo off-lane gyrocopter for the most part. The supports have all rotated to the other lanes to make sure Waga finds the farm he needs mid, and also the Bloodseeker is safe when folks are diving his tower. He's now been able to secure power treads for himself, and looking at the mid lane, Waga has found some decent recovery, at least now has a bottle. Dread still out farming him by about 8 last hits or so, but it is leveling out. Waga closing in on level 6, and that's when Dragon Knight will have a little more prowess around the map.
Weehaw, with those phase boots, he's got Dan going for the D-board here and tries to speedy catch up. Close, but the barricade going to save him. Dazzle for now. Oh, he actually didn't reserve the point. He's not going with early grave whatsoever. Feeling pretty confident putting the second point into heal. So I imagine he'll get grave thereafter. It's such an important tool, especially for someone like a Dazzle who needs a TP, and one TP shallow grave could just turn a fight right around, let alone just save whoever it is who's getting dived on your side.
Yeah. It is a slightly different take on the Dazzle. The 1-1-1 is a pretty classic opener. This is a slightly more aggressive build, and we'll see if they have a game plan for it. It can come to bite you in the ass, though, as you were talking about. If you're in desperate need of a save and you don't have an extra skill point, then sometimes you can regret that extra commitment in the heal. We'll see Weehaw down bottom just bullying this Puck. Comes cruising in. Thought he may go for a Rocket Barrage, but FNJ just backs up, and he'll be all right. He's at least getting some space in the lane now. Level 3 has Brown Boots secured. But if you're thinking about a Blink Dagger timing on this Puck, don't hold your breath, because FNJ still is not getting nearly as much space as he is.
Curious to see now in this mid lane matchup. Dragon Knight typically, he's firmly planted here. He's already committed his dragon form, probably in hopes of getting a finishing blow for a kill. I mean, you're committing a dragon form in your hopes that maybe for a pick, follow up and get some good damage on a tier 1, but he's not able to do that. At least now he's going to head towards the double Dandruff. No, he's not. Got him. Ha! Able to just quickly deny and take away that DD rune. Sorry, buddy. Waga. Ooh, unfortunate for him.
Yep. Looking at the Radiant Jungle, we've got some stacks to work with here. There's a big fatty at the hard camp here, and still no stack at the medium camp. Of course, a key facet of any Sven strategy. He's gone a very well-rounded build here. 2 points in the Great Cleave, so he will be able to clear stacks pretty easily. Ancient's not stacked up yet, but something that HR will definitely want to utilize as this game goes on. And really same for the 4 Clovers. When you've got a Gyrocopter, you certainly have the ability to take out neutral stacks, and You know, based on how we've seen games transpire in this meta, Dakota, that could be a key part of this mid-game is who steals whose stacks and what kind of fights come out of it after that. Already HR, though, with a little bit of an advantage on that front. I think that is a 4-stack here. Looks like 2 of those big pink birds and a few others. So Sven already in a pretty good position, leading the board and then also having some creeps waiting for him in the jungle. But down bottom, Weehawk could be in some trouble here.
Yeah, they move in. They don't know that there's a huge nearby 4 Clovers members, so they could put themselves in trouble, and they will.
Oh.
Roman's going to be going down first, and now a follow-up from Bambo, rotating to this bottom lane, gets up a beautiful rupture. Doesn't need to connect with the blood right, and Weehaw in the meantime, big rocket barrage to kill off the Darkseer. Goddamn! Can he get the TP away? He certainly can. Makes it out with the help of that shallow grave, which he's finally able to kind of put a bullet into. But man, disaster overall. I was checking out the HellRaisers' point of view, and all they could really see was the gyrocopter alone. What they didn't anticipate was the help that was right there behind them.
Yeah, very quick reaction from 4C&L. Ends up being a 3-for-0 exchange in the bottom with, of course, the Dire getting a huge advantage there. That Earthshaker, just wishing that he had that point in totem. He went for a 2-0-1 build at level 3 and, of course, didn't have the mana there to use that Fissure and interrupt the TP out. A little bit less than ideal, but still, great for this Dire team. Sven does get a little bit more room to farm the mid lane. That's kind of the one saving grace and what just went about in the bottom lane. Look at that net worth chart. And he is the only one farming decently on the Radiant side. Already 4CL pulling ahead by about 3k net worth and experience. Now we'll see this big stack get taken out by Sven. He's picked up the Morbid Mask, and, well, that's quite a bit of gold going his way. That Dark Trolley gets knocked up to the high ground. That's kind of awkward. He gets left behind. Thanks, Tusk.
There was a little bit of flirtatious play. Bambo moved in, got the rupture, but they actually had to commit a wall to keep him back. So your wall going to be down for quite a while, and Bambo gets to move back to the safety of just the lane to farm it on up. aphrodinja, yesterday on his puck, it was ridiculous, right? I mean, this guy got 22 kills by the end of the game, got to bull rush into a Dagon, and now this game, level 5, 9 minutes in, didn't really have a good time bottom lane, trying to still find a home for himself here. It's just crazy how a game can shift just so dramatically from what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I think HR realized that the way these lanes settle down, somebody is going to have to be the sacrificial lamb. Darkseer was in the off lane. 4CL got that matchup they wanted, putting the Bloodseeker safe with the aggro try. They had Puck stationed in the mid, and they called the audible to put Sven mid and make sure he gets all that farm. And that's something they achieved pretty well. Sven's farming very nicely, but it really did come at a cost. And aphrodinja, almost level 6, that's something. 800 gold, still very far away from a Blink Dagger. And I think this go-around, he may look towards Power Treads before he even grabs that Blink tool. So they still won't have that Initiator really online and ready to fight. Certainly not by the time that 4CL are ready to start grouping up and commencing their Death Ball. It'll be interesting to see the timing that they choose to go for. Waga has still been very quiet in this mid lane, but all the while racking up a lot of farm. And, well, speak of the devil, Caster's Curse coming true. Rotations towards him. A Fissure will help break it up. He pops the Elder Dragon form and just heads back to the high ground. No kill.
That Dragon form, though, so they get a nice pullback onto Dread. The wall, though, gonna say, get the hell back. PSM not gonna allow them to continue further. Now, fortunately for 4 Clovers, it's not late enough in the game where PSM really has any points whatsoever into vacuum. But if he did, that could have been pretty damn scary. But it's enough for the save. This Dragon form is gonna go out to really no serious effect without being able to take a kill or push a tower. HellRaisers still in a very nice spot. All this meanwhile, hold that. aphrodinja, talk about a struggling game. Good save with the shallow grave. Can he make it out time with the TP? See you later. Back to base he goes. Another opportunity lost for 4 Clovers.
Again, EGM just like, damn you, Fissure. He was trying to get in position to use that Enchant Totem that he's leveled up for an Aftershock to interrupt that TP out, and there was no space to get by. The Fissure was a good setup, but it also blocked him out from getting in to interrupt it, so a missed opportunity, but still a lot of pressure on this Radiant side. The Death Ball starting maybe a little earlier than planned. They force out the Glyph, and they will claim the Tier 1 tower. Sven on his way in, pops the War Cry, stun just on 1 as Bambo gets locked down. Dread just goes charging in, Goddamn's behind him, but he has no grave for 20 seconds. They need to be wary of this as they won't have that reset get out of jail free card. Now Weehaw joining the party, call down channeled, will not connect on any. And it seems this fight may just dissipate as HR avoid death, though they do force a rotation from the gyro, which is a minor victory.
On the way way out. EGM plants a damn good ward, spots out the stack at the Ancient Camp. Good intel to have before Clovers want to contest that later, because that was exactly what I was going to talk about before that fight did break out.
Top tower is under attack.
Building up these stacks. You can tell by the build Dread's been putting on. He went max into
Siege when they have Dragon form up. That's basically as simple as it gets for them. If they have that ulti available, they can just take these fights, put the Dragon Knight in the front line, chip at the tower, slow siege it, and wait for the fight to kind of break out from there. And we've seen their initiation power with the telekinesis to set it up, Rupture to follow, and then you've got all sorts of follow-up that's sitting on the ground, your call down, your blood right. It's not easy for HR, even though they have a lot of initiation power. We've seen that Darkseer wall be kind of a key part of these fights to force the disengagements. That's kind of a finite resource. It's a bit mana intensive and a pretty lengthy cooldown, so I don't think they'll always be able to count on that being available to defend these pushes. Looks like Waga will be going back for a Drum of Endurance, just a nice well-rounded early game build here for the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, he's very tanky, very meaty, but don't look for him to be dishing out the biggest of damage quite yet. It's not as offensive as being able to pick up your Shadow Blade, but we'll make do with what he's getting for now. And score hanging around this mid lane with him. Still trying to get level 6 on this Rubik, so it's been delayed a little bit, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We already talked about the start of this game, all the delicious options he's got on the side of HellRaisers. Could be a game changer.
Yeah, so far this Dazzle has definitely made his presence known, though. Afaninje surviving in that last fight has actually made a big difference. He's got 1,700 unreliable gold right now and getting surprisingly close to a Blink Dagger after that really slow start. 13 minutes in could end up being a timing that could salvage his farm and presence around the map. If he dies there, yeah, that quest for the Blink Dagger looks a little bit more grim. So already Shallow Grave making a pretty big difference, I'd say.
We'll see here. PSM creeping. Almost too far. He's on top of a ward he doesn't know about, so he's like, I'll just safely farm this Centaur creep. Suddenly a wild EGM appears, smacks down the Fissure to block out the camp. He's going to be connected with a Rupture, nowhere to run and hide. Here comes the Blood Right. Drops his own wall, but they still can't get him. Sexy Bamboo can't participate in helping him to kill because he has no life, but luckily there's Vanscore to the rescue. Steps in, finishes off what was started, and finally the Darkseer goes down.
Yeah, very nice. We didn't really talk about the dynamic of Bloodseeker versus Darkseer, but Surge pretty much counteracted by the Rupture there. So Darkseer in most cases can feel pretty safe in that kind of a scenario, can just run away if things get a little bit sticky, but when there's a Rupture about, that's not happening. So nice setup, and another one of these core heroes that really needs a lot of farm to have a big presence. It looks like Darkseer will be the mech carrier. Already has his Arcane Boots. He'll, of course, want a Blink Dagger and then some other items after that. And right now, there's just not enough farm to go around for this Radiant side. Dread is soaking up the bulk of it in the jungle, so everyone else is stuck with the lanes, and it's risky business being that far out and exposed. Mask of Madness, though, is out on the Sven. He's also level 11. Seems a BKB could be on the horizon.
You gotta remember, Matama Man, once he got the BKB on his Sven, that's when the game got really
top tower is under
we'll see how HellRaisers are able to do a bit the same here. Ways to go about a rescue out, but they get the snowball out. They won't Vanscore. There's the punch, and they're gonna smack him up and down. Now look at the movement. Coil though gonna be dropped nice between the two. Vanscore still holding strong here, but his days are eventually gonna be numbered. He gets chopped and taken down, the first casualty of this breakout. Very nice weave is gonna fly out defensively, but no. Follow-up, EGM gets the connection of the Echo Slam. They finish off PSM in the meantime, and now they head to the south. Weehaw, though, cleaning up the pieces from the back inside, gets Afaninje. Goddamn, gets a Shallow Grave, but this time there's no TP to make it out with, so he goes down. A big victory and sweep for Clovers. Tusk.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Disastrous there for HR, I think, needless to say. It's a 4-for-1. They end up killing the Rubik, but I can't believe how long Vanscore survived in that fight. He did have some stick charges. That helped quite a bit. But, I mean, he was the first target. It seemed like they had plenty of crowd controls to just burst him down straight away. But after the Sven stun came out, there just wasn't enough damage. That created enough space for the Earthshaker to come in, break it up with the Fissure. The rest of the team followed up, and, well, we saw the aftermath from there. And that's a death that will definitely hurt the Sven. He's got a lot of unreliable gold. Still not that far away from the BKB, but getting these kills while they still can are really important. Also, Puck has picked up a Blink Dagger. Definitely worth noting.
Amazing, sweet, succulent stacks. Gets to work through them right now. He's got his Yasha on hand. Helm with the Dominators. It's pretty standard here for your gyrocopters. So we'll continue to build up. But actually did use this now because there's a fight breaking out. Bob landing lead and rupture on Dread. Dread's still going to run. Bleeding through his pants the whole way through.
Oh
he
my God.
Care. He's like, I got to get the hell away from trouble. Help me. Not going to happen, though. They get the Fissure connection. Roman is going to be the sweet, succulent treat to come thereafter. For Clovers, after already taking a big 4-man drop, they get a 2 follow-up here. They're 12-2, pushing way on far ahead.
Yeah, they're starting to run away with this. We talked about it earlier. Sven still farming very nicely. He's had these stacks to work with. Even with these back-to-back deaths, he's still pretty high on the net worth chart. It's everyone else that's struggling. Now that Puck is ready to initiate with this Blink Dagger, they still have this problem of who's doing the damage, who's actually finding these kills. Tusk isn't doing it, Darkseer isn't doing it, and that leaves just Dazzle and Sven. So there's a lot on this Sven to really secure kills in these team fights, and they just simply can't do it. Up top, Glyph will come out. Vanscore going to duke it out against PSM to try and find the last hit on this tower. Who gets the deny? Who gets the last hit? Oh, it's Vanscore. He fakes him out. PSM thought he had it, but now FNinja's on his way in. Vanscore may have denied the tower. Oh, daddy, he takes the Darkseer with him before the Puck finds the kill. Oh, Vanscore making it happen. Now FNinja possibly in some trouble here. Does have a Blink Dagger. Uses it aggressively. Going on to EGM. RMN's here as well, but out comes the Echo Slam, and now Sexy Bambo. He'll go for the Puck while EGM goes for RMN. They do finish off the Fairy Dragon. EGM so low, just a handful of hit points, but it's a double for Bambo. Disasters all over the place for the HellRaisers.
That blood right is just so good. Tusk moves in and he can't do anything. He's silenced the whole way. He's stuck in lockdown, and it's beautiful stuff coming out from 4 Clovers here. HellRaisers feel headstrong in these fights. They're just bull rushing in, but 4 Clovers seem to be just kind of dancing around and doing as they please. They didn't even have Gyrocopter for that. They still got so much work done, so a lot of credit to them. They seem to be really stepping up their game in this matchup. A very important series, mind you. Elimination one. Loser is done here at ESPN. Hopefully gets to continue to fight further.
Yep. It's only game 1, but this series is certainly do or die. And I have to say, EGM has really had an incredible game so far. He's 1-0-11. He's just a couple hundred gold away from that Blink Dagger, and he's been involved in just so many of these kills. The Echo Slams have been on point. These Fissures overall have been very good, broken up these fights, and sort of making us understand why Earthshaker was valued as the first pick here for 4C&L.
Smoke here on a solo Roman as he heads towards the top, close to Wagga, but not close enough. He's just on an exploration to get some extra vision.
Radiant's top tower is under
territory.
attack.
They do get it.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Though working with this top lane, they're about to get the finishing touch on the stealing tower. Dazzle nearby.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
But mid. They set up onto the Tusk, Rupture to get things going. He will snowball out of the Bloodright, but Bambo says, well, I've got a BKB, son. I'm ready to rock and roll. That's 10 seconds of magic immunity. Yields a double kill in the mid lane. Now a wicked 6 streak confirmed, and as you were talking about up top, a tower was killed while all that was going on. Gyrocopter getting the last hit there. So the Clovers, man, they are finding victories in every single lane, often at the same time.
Bambo is a damn good Bloodseeker, I gotta tell you. I wonder if he plays as good as the Dance video
middle
games.
tower is under attack.
We'll see. He turns down mid lane.
I don't know, man. That's tough. His dancing MMR is pretty high.
It really is. And I'm a dancing guy myself.
Tower is under
a lot of props for him. Gotta boost him apparently.
Has fallen.
Get the shoes on. Regardless,
that certainly
they come
helps.
out big fight. Tier 1, Tier 2 now. 4 Clovers pushing way far ahead. 17-3, 14K net worth advantage. We got to start looking at the HellRaisers side and seeing what they can do to get back in this game.
Well, Dread's going to try risky play here. He steals the Dire Ancient stack, has his BKB. This is his 10-second BKB used just to TP defensively after stealing, I believe that was a double stack of Ancients. I like the mindset. We need to take some risk. Let's do something crazy, and that certainly fits the deal. That play alone won't be enough. And now that they know the Sven doesn't have a BKB and has just TP'd back to the base, hey, let's try Roshan, guys, and they will get it uncontested.
Easy here. The Sven, we have go on that ally soul.
Roshan has fallen to the
Probably
Dire.
looking to build into a Blink Dagger if possible, but then again, you're going against a Bloodseeker, might not be the best idea. You know, you got Flatcan on the other side, you might even have a difficult time getting a proper initiation, so I'm very curious to see where Dread's looking to take it from here, because he's still putting a lot of priority in just farming himself. 1-2 participating in a lot of the kills that we usually see from, you know,
Dire's
proactive
top
Svens.
tower is under attack.
Hopefully this build-up is to lead in some way the HellRaisers to really fight for their life, because 4 Clovers are just getting everything they want, and they pretty much control the map from here on out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a real solid plan for recovery here. I mean, for HR, if they can land their combo, if they can get a vacuum into Stormbolt, as LD talked about, or a coil to set it up, maybe they can start to regain some footing here. And I feel like some of those plays will come from high ground defense, but 4C&L are forced into those little corridors where a Wombo combo could be an option. But outside of that, that's their play. That's their recovery mechanism. And if 4C&L play tight, if they spread out and don't force it in terms of breaching the high ground, I think they can just starve out the map, rather, and keep HR kind of boxed into their corridor and limit their farm. So this is going to be tricky for HR, and the longer this goes on, they're going to have to take more risks, possibly even smoke rotations out of the base, find pickoffs that way. I mean, that's certainly a start.
We'll see.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yet. They're going very
actually
defensive with their wards, but
they don't have any available right now. Does somebody have a bunch of smokes somewhere? All right, there's one on the Dazzle. 2 on the Dazzle, actually. So they do have some smokes at their disposal. This pink troll over here carrying the purple stuff.
Yep, he's got to share. You know, if they want to be able to reach outside their
Radiant's
base. And
top
try to get a
tower is
pickoff.
under
Right now,
attack.
pressure is not being let up. 4 Clovers just go from one tower to the next, to the next, to the next. This is going to be the last hour tower for HellRaisers. You don't want to be suffocated
Radiant's
inside
top
your
tower has
baseline.
fallen.
Then you got really nowhere to farm, and any little bits of farm that are coming your way, you got to prioritize to someone like your Sven. So at that point,
Yep.
you're
Dire's
forcing
bottom
nothing.
tower is
It's a
under
ticking
attack.
clock of gold. You don't like that.
Radiant's top
So
tower is
Wagga with the
under
last
Well-
bits of his dragon form wants to get off as much damage as possible. And Bloodseeker hits like a truck, so he's able to chunk through this tower pretty damn fast.
Yeah, there is a glyph available for the Radiant side here. Sven just made it back to the base after killing the Dire Ancient stack again. Tier 3 tower looking like it may go down here, but there's the initiation. They go cruising on in. Sexy Bambo takes a lot of damage, but BKBs are popped to plenty. Dread trying to chase down the Dragon Knight on the backside. We'll find the kill there, but on the front lines, the Radiant side is just getting ripped apart. EGM comes in, drops the dunk. It'll cost him his life. Sven doing a surprising amount of damage here. It's Dread who's the hero, but he will be forced to back out now that his BKB is expired. The glyph still hasn't been utilized here. 2 buybacks used on the Radiant side. Tusk as well as the Darkseer get right back into play. Wall comes out. Dread with a stun onto Weehaw, trying to finish him off. Will chase him down, and Weehaw on the run. Can Dread find this kill? There's the surge. Chip Chop, he gets the kill on the backside. The Dazzle dies. The Sexy Bambo, he's trying to poke Roman. Bambo, he's going in deep here. He's going to buy a TP and get out. Yep, that's exactly the play. Can he make it? He sure can. So 4C&L, they get kind of cleaned up towards the end. It's a 4-for-5 trade, but one of those 5s for 4C&L was the Aegis, and there were 2 buybacks used by HR. So a very chaotic fight. Also, 4C&L did get the Tier 3 tower in that top lane. In general, I'd say a pretty good hold from HR. Sven showing off a lot of his power in that fight.
Yeah, he definitely got a point where he was really getting his own free will to just kind of slash at his opponents without much stopping him. It was the conclusion of the dragon form. They were getting caught out a bit, kind of hesitant as far as what their commitments were. But the buybacks came out, and HR did a fantastic job not letting 4 Clovers get away easily. It was a good movement forward. Dread continuing to chase, a nice wall, and Bambo had to make the initiative call to just stay and get a quick support cleanup, and, you know, as we saw at the back end, they made a clean getaway on top of it. So it's not enough to really bring HellRaisers all the way back to the game, but this definitely helps their case. This prolongs the game a bit longer and maybe allows Dread to just buff up that much further and have something potentially set up for the next possible high ground defense. But look who's already on the move. It's full Clovers. They're smoked up and trying to catch up the squad at the bottom.
Yeah, following the success of that fight, Sven was able to pick up a Crystallis. Still has about 2,500 gold, so a full Daedalus should be coming before too long. There's FNJ. They force out the phase shift straight away. Stuns to follow, and this puck is in trouble. Another fight breaking out at the same time. Fakes him out with the orb. Does not jaunt to it. Another phase shift, but EGM's there with the totem, and the Fairy Dragon will fall. Now, Bambo, he died in the mid lane where it looks like it's not over yet. Calldown's coming out from the Gyrocopter. He wants to finish off Dread, but he will TP home in the face of him. Now the rest of 4CL on the way in, and it's HR on the back foot. They will retreat, and seems they will live. That was a godlike streak ended by the Sven. Huge goal going the way of Dread. All of a sudden, we've got a Daedalus inbound.
There it is.
That is huge, actually.
Yeah. Now you just kind of can recognize that the high ground defense is going to be very good of HellRaisers. If they get a good jump in, whether it's from your Darkseer landing a huge vacuum setup, or preferably the Puck, who can lay a beautiful coil into that Stormbolt, the cleave damage that could be coming out from Dread could be devastating. It could be team wipe worthy if they get exactly what they want. And they're persistent, man. They get that secondary smoke, and now they're already back on the move once more. It looks like they're going to be heading right towards the Ancient / Roche carry. And if they get there soon enough, they might be able to kill something.
Yep. So, interesting items from the Rubik. He is going to go into a Vlad's offering. Does he actually have it completed? Yeah, he sure does, coming out on the courier, as well as a Manta-style recipe on the way for Weehaw. But whoa, a fight breaking out. It's going to be the Rubik that goes down first. Good initiation from the Radiant side, but now they're in some trouble. Bambo with the BKB on is just doing too much damage. He trucks the Darkseer and the Puck. Now Dread with nowhere to go will get locked down and brought down. That's the dominating streak from him, ended by the Bloodseeker. So Bambo finding some vengeance and a nice little payday to sorts as well. So 3 for 1 HR, the aggressors there. A bit bold, I would say, and obviously a bit of a backfire.
Obviously not the way that they wanted that smoke to go. They move in, they think they have an ideal setup, but you know, EGM's right there. He dishes out a fissure. Dread's still able to get a hold of one little support and rip him to shreds, but because of that fissure placement, he was unable to participate in the rest of the battle that was breaking out. They lost their Darkseer, and by the time they finished him off, it was a 3-on-1 to take out the Dread. So part of the flaws with committing to something like a core Sven is his ability to be able to maneuver in and out of the fights or get into good positioning becomes a bit tricky.
Well, a possibly bigger problem here is that Sven doesn't have a buyback. He's their big damage dealer. He's in the grave for 20 seconds. He went all in on that Daedalus, and now this Tier 3 tower will take some damage as a result. Waga pops the ulti, and happy to tank the tower for now if it means just laying in these right clicks with the Corrosive Breath. They do force out the glyph. About 5 seconds till Sven does come back up, and it looks like 4CL will not force the issue. Just trying to do the damage they can while they have an advantage. And we see that Manta style now completed on the Gyrocopter. So before that fight was breaking out, I wanted to mention the Vlad's offering on Vanscore. I think an interesting idea here. There is a fair bit of physical damage on the side of HR, but of course armor does not mitigate the cleave damage. It'll help that target that he's chopping away, but everybody else in the peripheral not really going to be feeling the benefit of that extra armor from the Vlads. Still interesting to see it come out in this kind of a build order from Vanscore. I feel like we almost see him prioritize a Blink Dagger over more of a utility item like this.
Yeah, maybe they just want to help Bambo out much as possible, being their real heavy hitter, so he can get a little bit of love back outside of even just his natural passive.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah.
We'll
oh man, Abyssal Blade.
Yeah,
I like this play from HR though. Yeah, they smoke into the Roche pit. They've got a medallion, and they'll be able to take it down. That's an Aegis secured for the Sven. All of a sudden, their lives get a little easier, but 4CL, they're smoked up, and they're in hot pursuit. Do they actually want to initiate this fight, though? Weehaw goes in first. Blink forward from EGM. Fissure will connect on Dread, but they go for Roman. The Straggler left behind. They'll trim some of that fat off the Walrus. Well, once he gets out of this snowball, at least, he's going to roll across, buy himself some time, right into the face of Weehaw, and that will secure an easy kill for the Gyrocopter. But well played by the Tusk. Create some space for the rest of his team to make it out. They still have the Aegis in tow, and everyone else happy as a clam back in the base. They will still have a 4v5 as 4CL move into enemy territory. We'll see if they want to try to push the advantage and chip once more at these structures. Important to note that Radiant still don't have a glyph, so this could be a decent window of opportunity. But seems they will just continue farming.
Super important ages there for HR. Do not risk allowing 4 Clovers to pick that one up. It would have been that much easier for them to look to breach into high ground and finish maybe what they had started in that top lane, perhaps. But for now, that means that if 4 Clovers decide to still continue to be aggressive, they can throw Dread right into the mix, allow them to get off huge bits of damage, and force 4 Clovers to just burst out their ultimates or big skills ahead of time, and then he could thereafter pop, you know, his ultimate and his BKB and everything, and really begin to dish out the proper damage. So in the meantime, we'll have to see what that call is going to be from 4 Clovers, whether they decide to continue this heavy push, or if they're going to stall out and actually allow HellRaisers to farm up and just wait for the Aegis to expire in the meantime.
So what is Ninja working on here? He picked up that blink a while ago. Now he's got Gloves of Haste and about 1,400 gold. My first thought is he's working on a Hand of Midas, but that just seems like such an odd pickup here, 32 minutes in, when HR really could be one bad team fight away from losing this game. If they get full white, 4CL can truck through their base, and just not sure that he's really going to see the dividends that a Midas provides picking it up this late in the game. Unless he's going for something else. I mean, that's it. Midas recipe on the courier.
Oh, man. That's a serious catch.
Oh!
Hello, how you doing, goddamn? How you doing? Dunk? Okay, he's gone.
Tower is under attack.
There you go. Good setup there. EGM making that one happen. Nicely done. Man, look at this warding from the Dire side.
Yeah, it's what it is like they're just making sure they keep tabs on HR. Like, okay, we'll allow you to get the Aegis. We'll allow you to kind of, you know, play out the clock a bit longer, but you get too risky. You go out too far, we're going to be there to catch you, like they might do here on Ninja, who they blink out in time.
Oh!
No, never mind. EGM there again, the playmaker. Lays out the fissure. He's stuck.
Do they know it, though?
They're not pursuing. I don't think they know. I think they might assume he might have made it away.
Yeah, they've got no vision to confirm, and he's not low enough for the thirst to reveal him. Ninja, of course, sees Bambo nearby. He will orbit cross, and Bambo, he's still alive, and he'll make it back to the base. So perhaps a stroke of luck here for the puck. Does get to use that first Midas charge. And now the farm quest continues. But looking at the graph, it is this Dire side just continuing to farm the map more effectively. And when you have a stranglehold like this and all this kind of map control, HR just don't have as many options. Both sets of Ancients have been going the way of the Dire side for at least the past few minutes. So I think 4CL will be happy to keep this up as long as they can still farm at a pretty decent rate.
Here comes 4 Anchors, though, still holding out. They don't want to push until the Aegis is up. So HellRaisers, they have to decide if they're going to go maybe another smoke attempt or something. Do they have one available? It's on cooldown, and no, it doesn't look like anyone has one on hand, so they might be stuck in this kind of defensive position. No, I say that, but someone did have a smoke. Someone found some little bit somewhere under the couch, pulled it out, and now they're going to be going down this mid lane, hopeful for something to pop out. They get a big fight here. Maybe they themselves can be able to breach into the high ground and get something going. A lot of reserve gold for even Weehaw, but some of the others don't have the funding for a buyback.
Yeah, it looks like they'll try to bait with Dread here in the mid lane. Glyph comes out to defend the tier 1, but 4CL, they seem a little bit suspicious about a solo Sven just charging up the mid lane 35 minutes in. They will go for a smoke in their base. And Sven once again going for Dire Ancients. They could catch him here. This has been a trap that Dread has fallen into a few times. They put the Rupture out to get things started. BKB's used. Wall vacuum from PSM. Less than ideal. He'll just get turned around on. Manages to get off the mech, but it won't save him. Dread still BKB. Does get healed up. Stormbolt on 2. Ninja comes in. Big follow-up damage there on the high ground. Will find the kills, but on the other side, it's 4CL cleaning up the supports for HR. Who's actually going to win this fight in the end? RMN goes cruising on in. That'll be the end of it. But now Dread's here. Stun on 3. Follow-up from Puck. They've got AoE damage, but so does 4CL. Dread hits the deck first. Now Ninja to follow. It's a 5-man wipe. A 2 for 5 as the Clovers come out big.
Very, very big fight right there for Clovers. Able to clean it up in the end. HR, you kind of question. I was curious if you know, they were still fighting into that with the Aegis. Dread decided to commit his BKB and Godstrike, all part of his first life, and kind of, you know, that's... The hard thing is that when you commit all of that and you're still trying to run to catch up with your target, you want to be dishing out the right clicks as much as possible. But 4 Clovers spread the fight apart. That Dread had to go all the way to one side to get something done. And then by the time he made it back for the second round, everything was already expended. 4 Clovers still had some tricks up their sleeve, including the EG and dunk and everything to follow thereafter. Pull back, a little bit of heal here, but it's 4 Clovers pushing into the base. They get the first racks down. Bambo forced to pop the BKB, drops down the blood right here. Armin to roll into it, has to run away. He gets off his own rupture, and Bambo able to walk away with just over 200 life.
All right, Shadow Blade saves him there. Sven's still in the grave, does have a buyback, but of course won't need to burn it. Now the rest of HR moving out of the base. They want to find some consolation kills. Van Score without that Blink Dagger. Limited options. TP on cooldown for another 25 seconds. Maybe he'll get lucky and stay in the trees. He gets scouted out by the shards, and yep, they're going to find him. PSM comes in. Can Van Score secure the Great Escape? Vacuumed back. Telekinesis. Blink forward from the puck. He's making some space, but he won't be able to get away. Good night, sweet Rubik.
I'm sure HR looking at that like, what was he doing there? Well, they got to get some vision out so they can secure a little bit of a defensive perimeter for themselves. Uh-oh. Afo Ninja. Oh, caught Abyssal. Oh. That took 4 hits, I think? 4? Oh, man. That was hard to watch.
It was almost a 3-shot. Yeah, I think that last one did maybe 50 damage, but oh, mama. That is the power of the Bloodseeker right there.
That was great. He shows up with Abyssal Blade, and even a Puck, who's as one of the most elusive heroes in the game. If you have that much of a damage burst, that stuff just doesn't matter. You get caught, you go down. And when you talk about defensive perimeter, it includes possibly sentry wards as well for situations like that. So can't go out alone. This is where you got to enforce the buddy-buddy system. Get a partner, grab your hand, go out there, and make sure that when you got someone farming up the creep wave, you got someone nearby just in case, you know, shit hits the fan.
They definitely need to buddy-buddy system this. They know where the wards are, or at least they think they do. Dazzle's pinging this one out like crazy, but they can't get out of the base to do it. Dazzle can't run out there by himself, and of course, when you're dewarding, you know the other team has eyes on you. Both teams have a gem right now. This Observer goes down in the mid lane, will get taken out by the Dire side pretty damn quick. Van Score will get snowballed, Walrus Punch, but it seems like it was bait. Roman, now stunned up from the high ground, will get the first shallow grave of this fight. Now Dread hops in, BKB's used. He can't find a target for his Stormbolt, but whoa, big damage on the Dire side. Rubik will fall first. A lot of low health heroes. Dream Coil on 3, locking them in place, but Dread, he falls. Dragon Knight brings him down. Another beautiful dunk from EGM to make it all happen. It's a 1-for-3 trade. The Clovers weak, but coming out big, make it a 1-for-4 as they finish off the Dazzle to boot. Just the Tusk alive at the well. My oh me, the Clovers just too damn tanky in these big skirmishes.
Not probably the ideal location that HR would have liked to take in that fight. And 4 Clovers didn't even really use Satanic either on the Gyrocopter. They had held on to it at the very end. The fight was already done, but still holds on. They move on forward, and I don't know. It doesn't look like we're ever going to see the Glory Holy Wombo combo come out from HR at this point. It seems like 4 Clovers always anticipate, always seem to put themselves in good position, and now look at Bambo. Hi, ho, ha, shot, bang, boom! Well, a snowball, though, comes out. Holding it out for now. Aphrodite steps in, get a nice silence bit of burst to finish off little Bambo. But Roman is going down regardless with the help of Weehaw right there, and it doesn't matter. In the end, the Rax is falling all over the place. 2 down all day. Only 1 remaining set at the bottom.
Ninja trying to make the great escape here. Fissure falls a little bit short. Looks like the elusive Fairy Dragon will live this go around, but now 2 lanes of barracks killed on the side of HR. The 4 Clovers looking like they might be able to secure game number 1 in this elimination best of 3 series. Just a bottom tier 3 instead of racks remaining standing between them and victory. Even Van Score now closing in on that Blink Dagger. EGM, he's rocking it in style. He's got 2 gems right now, so he's the gem guy heading back to the base, making a stop off at the safety deposit box. Both sides now picking up Assault Karosses. Big items coming out onto the field for both sides, but yeah, suffice it to say, 4CL have the advantage now over 25K experience and net worth.
YOLO smoke coming out from HellRaisers. They know that this might be it. Or it's either a backdoor Roche. One of the two. But they're going to run to Weehaw on the way, so it's going to turn to a YOLO play. So you see the gyro jumped in. Blink to get the stun. Can they bring him down in time before help can arrive? Well, he pops his BKB, and he's going to get the hell out of there. Where is he? We're going to turn back and fight. Pops a Satanic, but can't anyone hit with it. And he's done. Ooh, maybe should not have turned back there. And because he goes down, out on the sideline, 76 seconds, unless he decides to buy back, there is still a Tier 1 tower on the bottom lane. It's very easy to get back towards the Roche side, which...
I was just going to say, they can contest this if they want to. Take your pick of the litter in terms of towers to TP to. Roche getting low. Dread pops the BKB, goes down to the Radiant. Aegis will get picked up by the puck, not the Sven. Now the real fight breaks out. High ground, BKB's used. Roman stunned up, but will get the snowball off. Waga looking for a target. Goes for the sigil instead. Bambo now stunned by Dread on the low ground. Remember, if Dread dies here, he won't be coming back to life. He's dead. Sven does have a buyback available, but now this Radiant side in trouble. Ninja will fall. That's the Aegis of the Immortal. Utilized and finished off. Can Puck make the survival, though? And it seems unlikely. Phase shift blink away. There's already a stolen Storm Bolt ready and waiting. And, yeah, looking like this could be the end for HR. No buyback available on the Puck, nor the Dazzle. At best, it will be a 4v3 to try to make this final hold.
Tower is under attack.
Yep, and they won't have wall. Darkseer actually can't get back to his base. He has to run through the enemy team just to get back home. So it's like pulling the crease back and away. It's probably one of the worst positions you could ask to be in on your final defense, but maybe you can turn to some sort of flank play. Big vacuum does catch the 3, but obviously without a wall or anything else, the follow-up's just not there. Running in, Dread gets off a good stun, decides to target Bambo, but he's going to get quickly hit and locked down. Now they turn back on him. A call down comes out from Wee, shows up out of thin air with the help of his boots of travel. And that's like that. It's going to be game. Match number 1 going to be going to the 4 Clover kids. HellRaisers now on elimination point.
GG, well played. Very nicely done by the Dire side. The 4 Clovers are really ahead that entire game. The lanes went their way, mid-game went pretty close to their way. Just a couple of small missteps gave Dread that little bit of farm he needed to start being a real threat. And even though HR were on the back foot most of that match, they put up a good fight. And I can't help but wonder what would have happened if that Puck had a better time in the safe lane. If Ninja could have gotten a decently timed blink, moved into something else a little more useful than a hand of Midas, could have been a different game. They usually rely on him to kind of control the tempos, have a good time in the mid lane. And when he gets shut down that hard early on, it seems like this team really just struggles.